Derek, you may have seen me before. I'm one of the trainers. Sam is here as well. He's hiding in the background because he's going to be there to answer any of your questions. I'll talk about how you can ask questions when the session's going on. And we'll also have a time at the end of the session where you can ask questions as well. Okay, let's make a start. So the webinar today is about getting the most from your staff portal. We got to go through. There's only a couple of screens on this PowerPoint. Um, CoolCare make operating your care home easier, more efficient, and more profitable. This is what I was saying to you about. If you want to ask questions during the session or after the session, on your Zoom control bar or toolbar, you will have this one over here where it says Q&A. If you put a question in there, Sam will do his best to answer the question for you. Okay, so what we're going to look at, we're going to look at how staff can request holidays and check if they've been accepted, how staff can check their shifts and request overtime, and how managers can make sure that the right staff cover the right shifts. Okay, let's go and jump into CoolCare. Change my share. There's CoolCare. Okay. So first thing I'm going to talk about, actually it's not on the agenda, but I'm going to do it anyway, is how you can register on the portal. So the first thing, if you don't already have a portal, as long as you have your staff in CoolCare, you've got to that point, the staff in CoolCare, you can contact the support team and they will turn on or set up your portal for you, and then they'll give you the address of your portal. Because you need the address, obviously, to get to it. And the other thing you'll need is when you go to first use it, or a staff member goes to first use it, they have to register. And to register, they need a unique code. So you need to know the address of your portal, which if you haven't got it, email support. And you need to know each individual staff member needs to know their unique code. So where's the unique code held? If you go to a staff member's record, let's go to, actually we'll use Paul, because I always use Paul for the portals, for the Paul Brennan's record. And if I go to HR, employment details, down here we have your portal registration code. Each staff member's portal registration code is unique. If at any point, if they register and they get into the system, or it all goes wrong when they're registering and they can't get register or whatever, they come back and say, I can't get in. The simplest thing to do is to come in here and press reset portal password. It's not really a password you're resetting. You're basically telling the portal to let the person register again. Now, a lot of people think when they press that this number here or this code should change. It doesn't. The code for that person will always remain the same. Okay, so the person has the address, and we're going to give them their registration code. I'm just going to copy this from me for the minute. There we go. So you'd email it to them, write it down, whatever, but you give them the code. So then they would go to the portal. If you bear with me, I'll change my screen share again. And this is the portal screen. Okay, so when Paul goes there for the first time, he's going to click register here. It's going to ask him for his unique code. And if he puts in the right code, when he does next, his name should appear. And it's asking him to create a password for him to be able to log in. So he creates his password. He types in again just to confirm it. Hopefully I can get that right. And then he does complete registration. He goes successfully registered. Once he's successfully registered, he can log in. Okay, so here we are, we're in the portal. The first thing I can see here is, or we can see, is Paul's diary. When someone logs into the portal, they can only ever see their own diary. They can see nobody else's. And you might already be using this, but there is one thing I'm going to show you that you mightn't be aware of. Okay, so here we are. Here is April's diary. You can see the shifts he's going to work, because they're called shifts. These are the ones in the future. You can see absences he's had, holidays declined. There should be a holiday authorized as well there. Yes, the holiday authorized is there as well. And you can see that into the future as well, into May as well. Okay, so shifts are things that are going to happen. But if he goes back into the past, let's go back to March. You'll see there's nothing here called shifts. They become hours, like this one here. Now, what this is saying is this is telling Paul how many hours we have um, uh, marked down as him working on any specific day. So here you can see we say on the timesheet that he worked 11 hours and he's going to get paid standard rate as a senior carer. Up here, he could see hours for standard as a senior carer and hours at extra pay, 6.5 hours at extra pay as a chef. Or there's one down here. Yeah, there's one. 4 hour standard as senior carer, 6.5 hour standard as chef. Now the handy thing about this is if your staff look back and keep an eye on the last week or whatever, discrepancies where the pay is incorrect usually don't appear till after the person's been paid, and then it can be fixed, but it's always a bit of a fuddle to do it. But here, if Paul keeps his eye on this and he goes, hang on, I didn't work 11 hours that day, I worked 12. So he can come to you, and then if there is a discrepancy, you can change it. If there isn't, you can confirm it and know that 11 is right. But it does mean that you could actually fix that problem before it got to payroll, which would make things a lot easier. Okay, so Paul can see his diary. You can see when he's working, which means he doesn't have to ring you up and say, "What am I working next week?" You can see it. But there's other things he can do on here. So he can request holidays. Now, Paul already, as you can see, has a lot of holidays. But let's see, can we find him some more? We jump into May maybe and do it in there. Let's have a look. Yeah, there you go, third and fourth, nice and easy. So he decides he wants to have the third and fourth off. So he doesn't have to ring you and ask you to put it into the system. This is what he can do. He can go to his menu. He can go to request holiday. Now, at the top of it, it'll always tell him how many hours holiday he's entitled to, how many are left. Now, mine has a minus figure. Yours will never have a minus figure. Mine has a minus figure because I use Paul for so much stuff, and I've changed it so it lets me have a minus figure, but it'll never have a minus figure for one of your staff. So let's just pretend it says 93 hours. So you can put in the dates that he wants. So that was 3rd and 4th of May, if I remember rightly. Go 3rd and 4th. Yeah. So this is it. He's selecting his dates. He does next. It says confirm dates. He clicks here to confirm them. He does next. He doesn't have to put a note in. He can if he wants to say why he wants the holiday. I'll do next, and it's send request. You just save, and the request is sent. Now, something has changed on his diary, on his calendar. If I go back to the calendar now, and we go to May, there it is, holiday requested, holiday requested. So that's great for him. He knows it's been requested. But how do we know this has happened? Let's jump back to CoolCare. We'll go back into Paul's record because that's where we left. But let's go to the rota for a second. As you probably know, the holiday will appear on the rota, or the request, sorry, will appear on the rota. There you go. Well, that's great, but what if Paul had asked for holidays 3 months from now? I'm not going to see it for ages. Whether the holiday request comes from the portal or whether you go to the calendar and you manually put in the holiday request, the holiday requests will always appear out on the dashboard on your widget called calendar actions required. There you go. And I can see I've got 2 holidays to deal with here. And one of them is Paul's for the 3rd and 4th of May, April, March, May. There you go. Okay, click here. I'm going to click on Paul. it takes me into a certain view of the calendar. I can see Paul's request is flashing. I click on that. And if you've done holidays before, this will be very familiar to you. And all I have to do is I can authorize those holidays, or like I always do, I authorize one of the days and I'm going to decline the other. Okay. I'm going to save that. And of course, it'll tell me he's working on the 3rd. Do I want to take him off the rota? And yes, I do. Right. Let's go and jump back to the rota again. So I want to show you something else in the rota. All right, let's go to May. What we got? Undo there. That's the holiday that he requested, that we gave, that I authorized. And there's the one that I declined, went back to being a shift again. Because this button here is turned on. This is the one that sends out automated messages, or automated messages. So what'll happen is he'll get a message telling him, text message saying, this is to confirm you have your holiday for Friday. He'll also be told that this day here has been declined. But because he has the portal, something else would have happened as well. Let's go back to the portal. If I can find it, there it is. Nope, that's not it. Where's it gone to? Oh, there it is. Share. Oh, that's not it. Try that again. There it is. That's definitely it. You share. There we go. Okay. So May hasn't changed because it hasn't had a chance to change. But let's pop over here to April and go back to May just to refresh the screen. Holiday authorized, holiday declined, and there's the shift that you still have to go and work. So not only has he got a text message telling him, he has also got this on the portal showing him as well. Okay, so our friend Paul is always on holidays, so he's always desperate to do extra shifts. So to stay from ringing you up all the time saying, what is there any extra shifts going? He can actually see there are. We'll do this in May as well because we're here. You can see he's working the 4th of May, 6, 7. Oh, there you go. We got a break. So he's working the 7th. He doesn't work again till the 10th. So he thinks to himself, I wonder if there are any shifts going on the 8th and 9th of May. Let's go to the menu. Let's go to available shifts. Let's go to May. Let's go and look, have we got any for the 8th and 9th? And we have. So there's one there for a senior care nights. So he's going to request that. There you go. There's his request. When you click it, it jumps back to the top of the screen. And we'll do one for the 9th. We'll do a care assistant. Go click on that one. Let's jump back to the top again. So if I come down, there you go. There are the 2 requests. Again, this is great for him, but how do we know? Let's jump back to CoolCare. Let's see if I can do this in one go this time. There we go. Yeah. Now, some of you may know about this button already. Some of you may not. There is a button in the rota called Cover Requests. Basically, what Cover Request does, it looks at any messages or any messages been sent out about our shifts. So you may know in CoolCare, you can go into an empty shift and you can send messages to staff saying, can you cover that shift? And those messages that go out, you can always see what messages have been sent by clicking on Cover Request. But Cover Request also holds any messages that have come from the portal. So I have a shift here for the 8th. I've got one for the 9th as well. One person says they can cover. So let's look at the one for the 8th. Who is this person who says they can cover? The only way you can find out is you have to go to the shift. So I need the 8th of May. Oh, it's just over here, isn't it? Go 8th of May. It's a night shift. It's a care assistant. I click on that. Exclamation mark. Now, any of you who already know about sending messages out will know that if you send a message out and you get a reply back, the 3 symbols you're going to see are the green tick, that person can do the message, can do the shift. they can't do the shift or they haven't replied to you. So if you manually send a message out, this is what happens. But if someone sends a request from the portal to say, I can do this shift, it'll always have an exclamation mark. That's when you know it comes from the portal. Okay, so I decided to give him the shift. So I click here, and his name pops in on the shift. By the way, with the cover request, if I refresh this, remember that one there's for the 8th, we've just covered that shift. It'll disappear. Or if you close and open again, any shift that's been covered will vanish from there. Okay, because this automated message thing is turned on, he's just been sent a message to tell him you're now covering this. You're now working on the 8th of May at night from 7 to 7. But not only that, if we jump to back to the portal, we will find that if we go and look at his calendar, now remember, he wasn't working on the 8th or 9th. He worked on the 7th, he worked on the 10th, but he wasn't working on the 8th or 9th. Let's go back and look at his calendar. Let's go and look at May 8th, 7th, 10th. He's now working on the 8th as well. And you might think it does this quick because it's my machine and, it's a CoolCare machine. Remember, CoolCare, all this stuff is web-based. So this would happen as fast for you as it is for me. Right. The last thing we have to talk about is how do you make sure people can cover shifts? So let's say you have Paul joins the home and he comes in and works as a senior carer, and that's his main role. He will only be able to cover a senior carer's shift, because when he looks here at available shifts, he'll only see shifts that he is qualified to do. So he comes in as a senior carer, he can only do senior care shifts because that's his main role. If you want him to be able to cover shifts in other roles like assistant chef or admin or whatever, you have to put those extra roles onto his record. And for those who may not know how to do that, I'm going to jump back to CoolCare. It's a pretty easy one, this one is. There you go. Okay. So let's say I wanted Paul to have another role. And in fact, maybe I won't take Paul. I'll take someone who I don't use very often. Let's try Alison Burke. Let's give her a go. She's a deputy manager at the moment. That means she can cover shifts for deputy managers. If I go to HR and positions and history, of course, she has a load of roles. Let me try to find something that's a bit simpler. No matter which one I pick now, it won't be, will it? Declan, surely Declan. I haven't done much with you. Okay, so HR, positions and history. Oh, that's not too bad. Okay, so he's got one role, his main role is senior carer. When he first joined, that's what you would put on. That's the only shift he could cover. But here we've added roles for care assistant, kitchen assistant, deputy manager, a care assistant at another home, a senior carer. So he can cover all those shifts on the rota. Until you add those extra roles, he cannot cover those shifts. His name will not pop up to say, when you say who can cover the shift, that person's name will not pop up. To add the role, you click here and you pick which role you want. Which one does he not have? We'll go for nurse. When it comes to the date, you put in whatever date you want to start working that role. It could be a past date because it's just handy. But let's say you don't want to be able to work that role until 2 weeks' time. If you put that date in as, let's say, the 1st of May, that's the easy one. Although we'll save it, he will not be, the system will not assign him to any shifts before the 1st of May for a nurse. Okay, 3 minutes go by very quickly when you're doing this. Okay, so that's the portal. It is very handy because if you think about it, the staff are not ringing you to say, "Am I working next week?" They're not ringing you to say, "Can you book this holiday for me?" And they're not ringing you to say, "Is there any spare shifts going?" They can see all that and they can send it. They can send it in. They can only see their own shifts. And they can only, when they go to look at available shifts, they can only see ones that they are qualified to do because you've added those roles here on the record under HR and positions and history. Okay, that's me finished. Um, as I said, you can use the Q&A box, which is up here, and you can use the Q&A box and you can ask us any questions. Myself and Sam will be there until half 12. Okay, thank you for. Oh, hang on, sorry, I've got something else to say to you. Let me. It's been nearly a year since I've done one of these, so bear with me. There is one other thing I have to do. Um, do, 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 do. It's just to end the PowerPoint thing. Share. There we go. Okay. So next one we're doing is going to be based on HR related widgets. Um, CoolCare is committed to continuous professional development, whether you are in charge of finance, payroll, rota management, or tracking residents. You can work with our product specialists online or in person. But did you know you may be eligible for free training? Every customer has at least two 30-minute free of charge training sessions. Contact training below to check your entitlement. The email is training@coolcare4.co.uk and the phone number is 0113 385 3853. Okay, that's it. I'm finished babbling. And hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Okay, bye bye.